everyone, so I am back with another video, and today I'm going to be sharing my February favorites with you. I actually have quite a few products to show you, so I will just get into it and get started. So starting off with face, I have a foundation to show you. It is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Foundation. Now I picked this up in the States recently. It was actually in my haul video, and at the time I said I had tried it, I think maybe like once or twice at that point, and wasn't 100% sure if I loved it or not. But after a couple of weeks use, I do really like it. It has very good coverage. It's not like super full coverage, but it's got enough coverage to kind of hide any sort of like acne scarring, imperfections, all that. And it does really just give the face a really nice, healthy glow without looking oily. Because I have oily skin, and some of those foundations that have like the glow, they just make you look more shiny. It's not really like a healthy glow, it's just like an oil slick. So this one definitely doesn't do that, and I really like it. I've been using it, like I said, every day for a couple of weeks. It's kind of replaced my everyday Gorgeous Cosmetics foundation that I used to use, so this is a plus in my book, and especially for a drugstore foundation, I definitely think it's worth checking out. So the next product I have to show you is probably more like in the tools category, but because I just showed you the foundation, I wanted to show you the brush that I've been using with it. And it is one of the new Sephora brushes, and this is the Pro Dome Stippling brush number 41. This is just like a huge foundation stippling brush. It works really nice for blending in the foundation all over the face. Absolutely love it. My only complaint is that it does shed quite a bit, which is such a pain in the butt because I really do love this brush. I haven't washed it yet because it is fairly new, so maybe once I wash it, it's not going to shed as much. I'm not really sure. I've never really had many issues with brushes shedding, so this is kind of the first one. And I just hate when you get like those little black hairs on your face. But other than that, it does a really good job at really blending in my foundation. It seems like no matter how hard I try to blend in my foundation with like the beauty blender or that, it still always looks kind of like powdery or chalky, just not blended, and this has really been helping me with that. So that's another plus in my book if you can stand a little bit of shedding. Moving on to cheeks, I have 3 products to show you, and at least 2 of them won't come as a surprise because if you watch my blush video a couple of videos back, you know I love these. The first is one of the new Clinique Cheek Pop blushes, and this is in the shade Berry Pop. As I mentioned in that video, these blushes are just insanely well pigmented. They're super smooth, they're silky, creamy, and they have zero, like literally zero fallout. They just are not chalky at all. They just make like the perfect blush. Like this is just the perfect blush formula. It is a very bright blush, but because it is easy to blend, you can sheer it out no problem. I just absolutely love the shade. It's great sort of for winter, but it's also going to carry over nicely for spring and summer, so that's definitely a plus in my book. And then the second one I've been absolutely loving this month and have been wearing especially towards the end of the month is one of the Baked blushes by Milani, and this is the one in the shade Delizioso Pink, and this is just a really nice bright sort of Barbie pink with blue undertones. Again, super creamy and smooth. This one doesn't have much chalky powdery fallout either. I mean, it has a little bit of fallout, but it doesn't show up chalky on the cheeks or anything. And I've just been loving this shade. Of course, I'm not wearing either of them today. I went for more of like a peachy toned look. And then the last cheek product I have been loving is another one that I showed in my US beauty haul. And it is from Physicians Formula. And I can't again remember what these are called. I think it's their Shimmer strips. And this is in the shade Warm Nude. And it's just this, it's supposed to be like a blush, highlighter, and eyeshadow palette all in one because you can kind of go individually into each of the colors. They are super pigmented. They do work very nicely as an eyeshadow. I have tried them a couple of times, but I've just been using this as a highlighter. I have a little bit on today, and what I really like is that there's like the different strips of colors. So if I'm wearing like a pinker blush, I can kind of go into the pinker colors here. If I'm doing kind of a look today like with the peaches, I would go kind of more in this section. If you're doing like a bronze look, you can go with a little bit of the darker shades. So I really like it, super pigmented, and even though it's like shimmery, it's not glittery or chunky in any way. It gives like a smooth sort of that lip from within glow again. There's not any sort of, it doesn't draw any attention to your imperfections. I really like that. Moving on to eyes, I have a number of products to show you. My first favorite is the NARSissist palette, which I also featured in my US haul. As I mentioned in that haul, I had ordered it and then had some regrets because a lot of people were talking about how much they disliked it. So I was really worried about I guess whether or not I would like it, but I absolutely love it. I do understand that there's a few shades in here that probably aren't as great as they are in the single form, but I have to say pretty much all of them perform very well. They might not swatch as well with the finger, but once you use a brush and use them on the eyes, I'd say the only color that maybe doesn't have a ton of pigmentation is this one here. My only other complaint with this is that they are not labeled, like the colors are not labeled, so you kind of have to look online, or I had made a little chart and I've lost it, so that's my only complaint. But like I said, they're super pigmented. It's a really great way to get a bunch of NARS eyeshadow for a lot less money. This palette is quite expensive, but if you were to buy like 4 or 5 of the single shadows, and there's about 4 or 5 colors that I really wanted from this palette, this is the much better deal. So definitely an A+ in my book, and something I would definitely recommend if you've kind of been on the fence about whether or not to pick one up. Next up is a product that I actually received in my stocking this year, and unfortunately I do not know the name of the actual product. It's not on here, but I'm going to look it up online and then I will put it in the down bar below where I mention all of the products. So what this is basically a loose powder eyeshadow, and then there's this really big sort of, let's see if I can show you, and of course I'll do a close-up as always. This big sort of shadow brush that is really great for packing on color. I absolutely love rose gold. I like to do sort of a smoky purple look, and then I will take this at the very end and just sort of like dab it all over the eye. It is insanely well pigmented. It has a really nice sort of metallic finish to it. It's just absolutely stunning, and I really, really like it. And I'm not usually a fan of like loose powder shadows because I find them messy, but with that big brush, I don't really have any problems with like fallout or the spilling out. I just really like the packaging of this. Next up, I have a number of eyeliners, and the first I have here are from Urban Decay, and they are the 24/7 Glide On Double-Ended Eyeliners. And I did do a blog post on these, and I will link that below again where I put all the products mentioned so you can kind of see a closer look and see the swatches. These are incredibly creamy, but they last on the waterline, on the lash line extremely, extremely well. I have a really hard time with things kind of lasting on my waterline. It just seems like even if they're, you know, waterproof eye pencils, they say they're gonna last 24 hours. Doesn't happen with me. They're off within an hour, and these really last all day. I've been I've been lighting my waterline quite a bit over the last couple of weeks and really like the look. So the ones that I have are in Naked Basics. So this one is supposed to kind of coordinate with the Naked Basics palette. There's a shimmery white kind of pearlized end, which I actually do have on the lower waterline today. And then on this side is Crave, which is just sort of like a deep smoky brown. The next that I have here is Naked 2, and this is again supposed to correspond with the Naked 2 palette. On this side is Perversion, which is just like the deepest, deepest black. And on this side is Pistol, which is sort of a nice gunmetal. Now there also was just the regular Naked one, but my mom stole that from me this morning. She read my blog post that she came over today and said, "You know those really like creamy eye pencils you're talking about? I need one." I was like, "But I really like them." She's like, "You have 4. And the last one I have is the one that I've been using the most. It's Naked 3, and on one side is Blackheart, which is this really deep sort of smoky purple with like hot copper glitter in it. And then the other side is Dark Side, which is just a deep smoky purple. So I have really, really been liking those. So another eyeliner that I've been loving is from Rimmel, and it is their Scandal Eyes Thick and Thin eyeliner. As you know, I've mentioned it before, I have a really hard time with eyeliner, especially getting like a straight line. And it's weird. This is sort of an odd shaped pencil. It has like a little bit of an angle there, and you're supposed to be able to either do it like a thin line if you go straight like that, or if you're going down like that, do more of a thick line. I just really like the way the pencil's shaped. I find that I am better at doing eyeliner if I'm not doing like one big stroke, than if I'm kind of doing little dashes, and I find that easy to do with this. And again, I haven't had any problems with my eyeliner running or it kind of smudging throughout the day. Lots of times when I use eyeliner, I find that by the end of the day I have like eyeliner kind of all up in this area, and it hasn't happened so far with this. So this is another big plus in my book. Moving on to nails, I have 2 polishes that you have probably seen if you watched the last couple videos of mine, because I was wearing them both. I've since changed my nail color. And they are from the YSL Spring 2014 Look Collection, and they are these 2 shades here. There is the shade Rose Scabiosa, which is this really nice sort of light pink with purple undertones, and then, sorry, Rouge Pablo, which is a really nice sort of blue toned, cherry toned red. And these lasted, I had this manicure on for like a good 10 days. They lasted perfectly, they didn't chip. Really, really nicely pigmented, so I've been loving both of those. So this month I also rediscovered an old favorite perfume, and it is from Sarah Jessica Parker, and it is her original perfume, Lovely. It's weird because I tend to go for really sweet, really fruity scents, and that is not this one at all. This has quite a floral scent, which I don't usually like, a little bit baby powder, which I also don't usually like, and a little bit musky, but it just smells amazing. It's nice to kind of change up my perfume, I found. I just kind of got used to the other ones I was always using, and now that I'm using this, it just feels like lighter, kind of like spring-like. I don't know, I just smell myself throughout the day and think, you smell good, so I quite like this. So last but not least, I have a number of hair products to show you. The first is from Got2b, and it's their blow dry cream. This is a new product. You just put it in your hair, obviously, before you blow dry your hair. It's supposed to help smooth things out, help protect against the heat. I already had a heat protector, but only one that I would spray on after I blow dried my hair, and I was using like a curling iron or a flat iron. And like I mentioned in previous videos, my ends had been super damaged, but I have to say they feel so much better now, and I definitely think this is helping. I just do maybe like a quarter-sized amount on my hair before I blow dry it. It doesn't make it like sticky or crunchy or I have too much product in my hair. It's really light, and again, a drugstore find, so fairly inexpensive. Next up, I have another Got2b product. This is their Got2b Rise and Shine Pomade, and it smells like freaking incredible. I can't even describe it. It's like fruity and sweet. It's just so good. So what I usually do after I've done my hair, especially if I'm doing curls, I want to kind of separate them, give them some definition, just like loosen them up a bit. So I'll run my fingers through my hair, and what I will do is mix some of this pomade with this Josie Maran Argan Oil Hair Serum. So I mix the two of them together, they're both favorites, and kind of rub them in my hands and then run them through my hair just to kind of separate the curls, take away any sort of frizz, help keep them like defined. So I've really been loving these two products, and like I said, this one smells so flippin' good. It just makes your hair smell great all day long. And that's another look at the Josie Maran one. Now this came in a set that I got at Christmas. So this is just a mini size version, but I'm really thinking that I'm going to purchase the full size version. Even though I have a lot of other hair oils, I just really like this as a finisher, and the combination of the two just works so nicely together. Last but not least is a hairspray, and this is another Got2b product, and this is the Rise and Shine Luminous Lift Hairspray. Now, I am very, very picky when it comes to hairspray, not so much because of their performance, but because of their smell. I find so many hairsprays have that really awful, I don't know, it's like a spicy, it's just not a good scent. So I've always just used like one of the Rusk ones, but this one smells incredible, and it smells exactly like the pomade that I love, and this one is really good for adding volume. So what I like to do, not so much today because I have this pinned back, but if I didn't have it pinned back, I would sort of lift my roots up, give it a little spritz, and it just really helps everything kind of stay up, look volume, keep everything together, and smells absolutely amazing, and is so much less expensive than the Rusk hairspray that I use. So that is that there. So that is it for my February favorites. Be sure to leave me a comment below. Let me know if you want to try any of my February favorites, what your February favorites are, if you have any products you think I should check out. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!